Hey everybody, so I wanted to make one more video today because when I make a video that's a little bit more advanced, I always feel like I should make a video that's a little bit less advanced, but which is still hopefully useful for my 3 subscribers. I think I'm up to 3. So this is a quick and simple one, hopefully quick, definitely simple one. And it is about the start menu. And basically it is the idea that if you have the start menu set up in a way that makes sense to you, that you will hopefully be able to increase your productivity a bit. And a lot of users, from at least what I've seen, will have the default start menu and they'll just leave it like that forever without knowing that there's some extra things that you can do to make it better for you as the user. So for reference, I'm using Windows 10. This applies specifically to Windows 10, by the way. That's not what I wanted here. And this is, let's see, version 2004, and this is build 19041.508. So future builds, like I believe the 2009 or 2010 build, will change the start menu a little bit. But my guess is that the functions that I'm about to mention are still in the new one, probably just some extra functions in there as well. So at any rate, this is 2004. If you've got an earlier version like 1709 or whatever, you may want to update anyways, but make sure that your machine's going to be able to handle it and everything first. But this is Windows 10. Doesn't apply to 7, doesn't apply to Mac, nothing else, just Windows 10. So the first thing, well, first things first, I have an add-on that puts these buttons in the middle of the screen, which is a little bit different from the way it normally is, off to the side. And it also makes this transparent. You can't see it right now, or not transparent, but it gives it an acrylic transparency, which you can't really see because of the black background anyways, but that's an add-on. What we're going to do today involves no add-ons. It's built into Windows. There's no extra software, no other junk you need to download. So firstly, and again, this is for the start menu, not the toolbar, the start menu. So the toolbar has some other things that you can do, and I'll show you where some of those settings are, but I want to talk about the start menu because that's where your programs sort of live. That's where you can access them from. So the first thing we're going to do is right-click the toolbar and click taskbar settings. Taskbar. And then we're going to come down to start. So as you can see, there are other settings in here. Lots of personalization things. One really nice one is if you go to background, you can change this to slideshow. And you can choose what folder you use as the slideshow. I do that for lots of people. And then I've got a folder that's full of a few hundred different backgrounds in my pictures. So you can set it so that it changes every hour or 6 hours or whatever, and people seem to love that. So that's a really simple setting you can do for the desktop. But again, I'm focused on the start menu here, so let's look at that. So in here, you got a couple of options. Show more tiles on start, and I believe that makes it the tile area larger. Show app list in start menu. Show recently added apps. Basically, that puts them up here in a separate section. So if you want to get rid of this recently added app section, you would turn that off, and now you see it just starts alphabetically. I do like to have that in there though, because oftentimes, as soon as you add something or install it, you're going to want to use it, and it puts it right there at your fingertips. And you can see that most recently I've installed Audacity, Google Drive File Stream, Layout 2020, 2 of which I've made videos on actually. You can set it up to show most used apps as well. So here's most used, Chrome, File Explorer, and so on. I don't usually have that one on, maybe I'll change it. You can put show suggestions occasionally, and I would not, because it's probably going to show you ads and junk. And then you can do this neat one, use start full screen. So let's check that out. So that you'll see is a little bit more like the Windows 8 start screen. So let's see here. You can show all apps this way, and again, it's going alphabetically. To me, that's just kind of obtrusive almost. I prefer the Windows 7 style rather than this Windows 8 style. I just, it's a bit much. But some people may like it this way. So I'm going to turn that off. And then there's show recently opened items in jump lists on Start or the taskbar and in quick access. So what we mean there is like if you right click one of these, you'll see these recent items here, recently opened items here. And that goes program to program. So for instance, I've made some projects in OpenShot. Those are shown there. If I turn that off, you see they're gone. I do like to have that one on because sometimes I can't find what I'm looking for and it will show up in there. Now, because I briefly turned it off, those lists have to repopulate. They will do that, but a moment ago you saw what I mean there. So firstly, you've got those options that you can go through. But more so, I want to talk about how to change it from here to what you want without using any utilities. So when you open up Windows 10 for the first time, it's going to probably look something like this, except here there are some pre-made groups, and there's crap in there like Candy Fucking Crush, and of course Microsoft Edge, some other things like that. Some of them are things that you'll often use, sure. They have Office in there normally, and it's usually a trial version that you want to get rid of anyways, because otherwise Microsoft is going to make you buy a copy of it. Of course, if you don't have a copy, maybe that's nice to have. I think OneNote is usually in there by default. You can change those. So you can right-click any of these and do Pin to Start. And by default, that's how it pins it, as a medium icon. The next thing you can do is resize these. Right-click again and do resize. And you can make it smaller in this case, or medium in this case. Now, there are some other things here. You can unpin from Start. You can run as administrator. But as for the Start menu, for that one, there are only those two options. But now you see like Photos and Edge are wider. So if I right-click Edge, you see under Resize, I got a couple more options. Small and medium you saw. Wide is what you see there. And you can even do large. So now I've got a large tile there. The next thing you can do is put tiles into groups. So you can see I've got these in one group and these in another. Now let's say I want to take these, the OpenShot and voice recorder, and put them into a third group. I can take and drag them out without opening them and separate them into another group. Hopefully. I say that, and now of course it's not working. There we are. Had to pull it down a little bit further. Whoa. If it would let me do it. Boy, it's acting kind of strange. There we are, thank you. Sometimes it gets a little bit funky, and you have to sort of, work with it. If I want to get rid of those groups now, I can just get rid of the label. So let's say I want to put those back. Get rid of the label, sort of slide it back up there. Now you notice what that one just did. When I put it on top of the other one, it combined and it put it into this folder, which is kind of annoying. Sometimes you don't want that. But like you can see, if I wanted to put voice recorder and video editor into one, just drop them over. And then they're in a folder together, which you can name. So now this one is a folder called Office Shit. There's some Office Shit in there. Again, if I right click this, Normally, there would be a list of recents. Because I cleared that cache, it's not there. But normally there would be. And then click off of it, click it back up, and the folder closes again. Personally, for me, I hate all of this crap. And especially because Microsoft puts it in there with Candy Crush and whatever else and junk that I don't want. So personally, I want none of that junk. None of it at all. And unfortunately, the only way to get rid of it is individually, as far as I know. You might be able to dump whole groups at a time, but I haven't found that. So right click and unpin, right click, unpin, 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 and that's how you get rid of multiple things. Now, if I want to get rid of an entire folder, I can unpin the entire folder. If I want to keep some of them, I might want to like pull this out first, if it will allow me. There we go. And then get rid of the folder. And then I've kept that one. You can see here, this is a miniature one, a small one. So maybe I want to resize this to small, because then you can fit 4 of them together, which is kind of nice if you like these things. I hate these things and I want them all gone. But I like the fact that they are available here. So what do you think is going to happen when I get rid of that last one? Nothing. Nothing at all. Until you close it and you open it back up. And now you see those live tiles are gone. They're out of the way. The next thing that you can do, which is really nice, is you can drag this to the height of whatever your screen is. And I recommend you do that, because then you just get way more real estate. They set this up, I think, for like a 720 screen by default. So normally it looks something like this by default, but you can fit a lot more on there if you just drag it back up to the top. Now there are ways to change the things that you see in here. And again, there are lots of other third-party apps that will change other stuff. But my recommendation is you play around with that, and especially with the live tiles. If you dislike them, get rid of them all. If you're not going to use them anyway, get rid of them all. If you do like them, put the ones in that you want to use. Put the ones in that you are going to use most often. If you don't like them, again, you can always come here to start and do most used apps if you still want something where it highlights the stuff that you use most often. If you want to go as far back as you can to, towards Windows 7, you can get rid of the recently added and the most used. And just have that. And let's see what happens when we say get rid of app list in start menu. Now you see nothing there until you click open that up. So here you've got, this would be the live tiles if I had any, and then this would be the app list. I don't want that either personally, because I want it to be as few clicks as possible. But I typically like it like that with recently, maybe most used. That might be nice. You can do choose which folders appear on start as well. Now this only gives you a few options. These are these folders here. So let's turn them all on. See what happens. Now you see I've got all of these possible things open. Now, for instance, I never use downloads. The default for Edge and Chrome is to download files into the downloads folder. I have everything download to the desktop, so I never use it. I wish it didn't exist, but it does. However, I certainly don't want it clustering up the space here, so I'm going to get rid of that. I do use network, but not in the way they want me to, so I'm getting rid of that. My videos are stored elsewhere, so are most of my pictures. Same with my music. Let's see. Documents I would want in there, and settings I certainly want in there. File Explorer is kind of nice to have. Personal folder, also kind of nice to have. So I think I'll leave it like this for now. I may get rid of some of those at some point in the future, but changing these things makes it so that the applications and the places that you want are available right at your fingertips, are available with as few clicks as quickly and easily as possible. And none of the bullshit that Microsoft thinks you want is there. The reason I'm making this video, even though it's very simplistic, is simply because still so many people don't know that it's there. So many people don't know that it exists. There's one other thing I want to show you quickly, and this is on the taskbar. So we would right click and do taskbar settings. And on taskbar here, I have use small taskbar buttons selected. Normally, your taskbar buttons are about that size. They don't normally shift in the middle. That's an add-on that I have. But normally they are that size. I make them small, usually, because then I can fit more on the same taskbar, more in the screen, and it takes up less of the screen real estate. So for me, that one helps to make me more productive, specifically when doing things like Word documents and spreadsheets, by giving me back some of that space that otherwise would be lost to just the taskbar. So that's another one that I personally use often enough that I thought I should share with you. So that's all this video is. Just some things to kind of help you to customize Windows to make it the way that you want it, to make it the way that's going to be best for you. You certainly can't do hardly any customization on Mac. Windows, a little bit. Linux, you can customize it right until you've broken it, which is wonderful, until you break it. But anyways, again, so many people don't know it, and it's so easy that I thought I should make this and hopefully introduce a couple of folks to that idea. So anyways, hope this helped a few people. Have a great day. Enjoy.